Hi, I'm getting so good at the dual. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. Hi, everybody. It's Honeybee Henderson. I'm going to change this Insta with Wake Up Wednesdays today. It's Honeybee Henderson with Wake Up Wednesday. I wanted to just sign on and say good morning to you all. And that's not very good for my camera. Hi. Hi, Adrian. Okay, begin again. Good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday. It's Wake Up Wednesdays with Honeybee Henderson. And I had in mind to talk a lot about making a decision and the importance of making a decision to give the universe feedback from your will. And I had a really good Wake Up Wednesday scheduled, and Divine Mother wants something totally different. So I need to honor that because that's the connection that I'm most devoted to. So on today's Wake Up Wednesday, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the second chakra, and we're going to dive a little bit deeper into what it is to support yourself and to love yourself as you move through whatever energies are presenting themselves to be looked at, to be seen, to be loved. So this is, for me, this is one of my favorite areas to work on. Not only with the potential of creativity and expansion and really beautiful ideas and how to move forward and how to be elegant and juicy and all these things, but it also is the place where I am 100% convinced this entire planet needs work on. We need to focus in on what is going on in this beautiful second chakra. So after a very deep and profound phone call this morning with a woman who's going to be joining us for the retreat in a couple of weeks, I realized how fun and playful and second chakra can be because, and I'm always getting people to move their bodies and doing hip circles, and there's a very deep purpose for this. But it can seem very playful and very joyful, and I don't want to sidestep any of the trauma that has happened or that is stuck in the second chakra. So oftentimes, as you all know, second chakra is located here, Svadhisthana, and which is why we have everybody doing hip circles, which if that's the only thing people remember about me, I don't care. Because when you start to move the physical form, you have the chance to, it's kind of like turning on the light to shine on some of the shadow pieces. So we have all these different layers, koshas in yoga, but we have all these different layers to make up who we are. The physical is the most dense form of our system. We have emotional, we have mental, we have etheric, but this physical form is the most dense. So part of the work in the second chakra is to move the energies physically in the body. But what happens when we start to move these energies in the body is that some of these shadows, some of these shadows will show themselves, which may be in the form of past trauma from this lifetime or past trauma from another lifetime. We work with the lifetimes simultaneously because I'm a believer that everything's happening concurrently in different planes of consciousness. That's another conversation for another day. Right now I want to talk a little bit more about just meeting yourself where you are, meeting yourself as you are. I used to be in love with this statement, come as you are. And it's such a container for the work that we are here to do. Come as you are. So don't try to come and be someone different. Don't watch, the progress of a beloved or a friend and compare yourself to it, because you are perfect exactly the way you are. You are in the right place. You are in the right time. You're not too late. You're not ahead of the curve. You're just on time. And this is the work of your soul and all of the support team that you've had that are helping you from the invisibles. We are completely supported 100% of the time. That we can rest in. And when we don't know that, we kind of have to access it different ways. But play with the universe and see how she wants to meet you. For me, like I said, it's about Divine Mother. And the second chakra can be both beautiful and can really reveal a lot of trauma that is stuck inside. And because we're having a light-filled weekend does not mean that we won't be exploring the depths. So the depth of where have you abandoned yourself? Where are you coming up with fear in your body? How can you relax the nervous system? What is triggering the nervous system to kind of get out of whack? We're going to really dive into the psychology of the human. And this second chakra is just, it's so much, there's so much happening in this area of our lives. So anything with creativity, with sexuality, with fear, with control, with how am I different than my family, money, all these little nuances of who we are embedded into these chakra systems, into these energy systems. And then we compile all these stories in our lives, including with the traumas, and it's not, for me, it hasn't been enough just to shift and to say, okay, I'm free, because it seems like the things that are buried and in the unconscious always want to be seen and loved and healed. So we work on both a spiritual level, and we clear the chakras as much as we can. We work on the physical level. We do yoga, we do asana to kind of maintain and open up those energy fields. And then we also work on the psyche. We work on trauma. So you can imagine in this second chakra what we might have buried. In this time of the Me Too campaign, there's what I'm noticing and feels like the pendulum is swinging. It seems like all these women are coming out against men, and it's really been a swing in one direction from being patriarchal to now the women are taking back the power, and then we kind of have to settle in the center, which is where the healing takes place. So we have to look at the things that are in this chakra that maybe you can't access your creativity, or maybe you feel frigid, when you're with certain men or certain energies or certain women, whatever you prefer. But how do we really bring ourselves back and love these parts? I could go on and on and on about this chakra. For me, this is the most significant and the most important area that we're working on collectively and individually. And a lot of times, typically for women, there's a lot of abandonment issue, a lot of self-abandonment, a lot of overriding what I know to be right for my soul in order to please another outside of me, second chakra. We have terminations of pregnancies, we have sexual abuse, we have guilt and shame around being sexual. We have guilt and shame around being alive, around being human. Most of the time, these bits and pieces that lie in our consciousness don't make sense. So we really want to uncover and scrape these things and see what feels like, what needs attention. So I invite you today to come as you are. I invite you today to welcome all parts of yourself in. There's not one part of you that's bad or wrong because you've had an experience or you've done something that feels like maybe out of alignment for you now. You can't do this wrong. You cannot do life wrong. You might get adjusted and you might go on a different path that might look a little bit more windy, but it can't be wrong. This life is constantly about leaning in and learning a lesson and then letting go and finding acceptance and then moving to the next moment. So when we work on the second chakra, we really want to be tender with ourselves because this is a very tender place, and the planet is really upside down, inside out around sex and sexuality. And that's changing with a lot of beautiful movement as far as the work that's happening in the field of this chakra. But again, I want to just invite you all today on this Wake Up Wednesday to really be gentle with yourself, to be tender, to be sweet when things come up. So I just got hit over the head this morning by Divine Mother and her guidance and her wisdom, and she definitely doesn't want you to be alone and doesn't want you to think that you're alone. And it's my privilege and my honor to connect and to meet with her every day, moment by moment. And this is who I am. It might look totally different than the way that you receive or feel in the energy, in the vortex or the field or whatever you want to call it. But for me, this aids me in the work that I do constantly on myself. Because if I can lean and rest into this presence of loving, that I know that I'm held. I know that all parts of me will be accepted. So my work is to come as I am and accept where I am, and to love that part of me that is human and still learning in this world of duality, still learning how I can be the most gentle, the most kind, the most loving to myself. The second chakra, as you start to shine the light on some of these shadow pieces and start to release and uncover and unravel and unveil, then that's when the joy, the creativity, the spiciness, the sassiness comes forward. They can definitely be together simultaneously. This is not unheard of. But as we do this kind of work together, we really want to open up the container so that we can really accept everything. And so I'm excited about doing this work again with women specifically, and I'm going to use this weekend as a test pilot to take some of this work over to the Middle East, because it feels like that's the next step for us. We are dealing a lot with diet, and that also has to do with digestion and how we mindfully meet our food and the things that nourish us. How I'm in relationship. Second chakra is all about relationship. So how am I in relationship with other, but also how am I in relationship with myself? These are questions that I want to continue to ask myself, because if I'm kind of rejecting myself, which is an old story that I had, negative talk and rejection, and it's like, well, then we're just going to hang out until we can accept ourselves. So the rejection can feel pretty strong inside my system. So that's why I keep advocating, and I will continue to advocate to move slow, because you cannot pick up on all these little subtleties unless you move slowly. If you're speeding through life and you've got this mission and you're going for it and that's it, you're going to miss a lot. And I feel like the more that we get into the juicy, shadowy stuff, the more that we can open up and really live a life fully alive. So I hope this is helpful, you guys. Second chakra work. And oh my God, I'm wearing this cute top today, but second chakra, right? So we're gonna do hip circles. I'm gonna maybe post some more hip circle videos. If you guys have hip circle videos, I would really love to see them too. But each and every day, my job with my own body, with my own system, is to open up this central channel. We talked about it, the Sushumna Nadi. But I go through the chakras. I make sure that my root feels strong so that I have strong foundation, that I feel secure in my body. I open up second chakra so that I can really activate the creative source inside of me. I get strong. I do sit-ups actually every single day, not for like my physical form, but so that I feel strong in my body. Right, this is the silver triangle we talked about last week. The silver triangle is this foundation. So work 1, 2, 3. Do a sadhana. I love these sadhanas. If anybody wants to create their own sadhana, I'm super, super, super stoked to support you on that 40-day journey. Let's do it. I'm excited. I'm open. I'm aware. I'm awake. I'm ready to support you. And I just want to remind you that you're not alone. So I hope this is helpful. Friends and family. Later I'll get on and blah blah about something else. But let me know if this is helpful for you guys, because I'm going to keep going unless somebody says like this is shit. So I love you all, and be well. Namaste.